Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and it is a dog eat dog world out there right now. And everything honestly feels like it's being devoured. Everything. Video games, certain consoles, certain handhelds. It just kind of feels like things are drying up a little bit. And we get to this point in every year where it really starts to feel like that. And I'm sure that that's not a feeling that only happens in my local area. I'm sure it happens in a number of areas. But with where I'm at, I'm kind of used to seeing, especially when I go to video game stores. I'm not talking about GameStop. I'm talking about specialty like retro game mom and pop shops. When I go to retro game mom and pop shops, I expect a higher caliber of games to choose from, right? Especially when you start to look at the things that are behind the glass case. And this week, even though it's Tuesday, it's been a jam-packed week already. Sunday was a day where I had some pickups. I was able to get some pickups over the weekend. And then yesterday, I got some pickups as well. So I kind of want to show you what I've been able to find out in the wild and then have a quick conversation with just, how I plan on really being able to add more quality titles in the collection. So right now you're clearly looking at this PSP that I've got here. And this is one of two complete in box PSPs that I picked up yesterday. So I got two of them here. You've got this version, and then you've got this version that came in this blue box. Both of the consoles match the serial numbers on the box, so these are the original boxes with the original consoles. Both consoles were in like 9 out of 10 condition. They're in really good shape. No scratches, no dings, no dents. The batteries in them work well. There's no swelling on any of the batteries. And as you can see, I popped in Vice City and have just been running around here in Vice City. And to be quite honest with you, every time I turn on a PSP, I'm a little bit blown away with the graphics, right? Like these graphics are honestly amazing for the time. I wouldn't say that these are quite PlayStation 2 graphics. They're definitely leaps and bounds better than PlayStation 1, but just the ability for the PlayStation Portable to allow you to play a game as expansive as Grand Theft Auto, I just thought was just really cool. Every time I put this in, I'm just blown away with the PSP and what it was able to do, what it was capable of doing. So I picked up two PSPs yesterday, and along with those two PSPs, I also got a couple of games. The first game being Need for Speed Most Wanted 510. This is actually, I do have Most Wanted on the 360, I think. And so this wasn't one that I really needed, but it came with it as part of a bundle. So I got this with it. And then I got this really cool game that I had never really heard of before, and I'm not sure if there's a PlayStation 2 version of this game. There might be, but this is Gangs of London, and this is a very interesting kind of like beat 'em up style game where you walk with your crew and you can kind of instruct the NPCs that are working with you to do things on your behalf. So they can beat people up for you, they can move around for you, they can do different things for you. And so I thought that this was like actually a really cool, just a really cool game. So this was another one that I picked up. So a really cool bundle there. Then I also picked up two games that I've been wanting to add to my collection for quite some time. One of them being The Legend of Zelda Four Sword Adventures. This was one that I've been able to get my hands on loose disc many times. But I've never been able to find it complete in box. It's always been either, you're just getting the cover art or with no manual, or you're just getting the loose disc. So I was finally actually able to get my hands on a complete in box copy of this game. Of course, I still don't have the big box version yet. Getting the big box version would be ideal. I don't have that, so that's I'm gonna have to look for that big box. Hopefully I can get my hands on that. And then this kind of rarity, this game is definitely one of the more rare games that I found recently, Mr. Mosquito on the PlayStation 2. Again, this was another one that was complete in box. Very interesting find. I've heard a lot about this game. This was available at a mom and pop shop, and I was able to get my hands on it there. So wound up picking up this copy of Mr. Mosquito, and then also got my hands on a complete in box copy of Booger Man. And this was actually something that was mailed to me from GameStop. So I actually got my hands on this GameStop game. And it's really interesting because, you know, this is the second game that I've gotten, Genesis game that I've gotten from GameStop that actually came with the case. But in this case, they did one better because not only did this one come with the case, but it also came with a manual, a very beat up manual, if I do say so myself. But nonetheless, it is complete. It is complete, right? So that was super interesting to get. And then I got another game, and I'll show you this one. Hang on. Let's see if I get my hands on it. Yep. So I also got yesterday this game. So Plock for the Super Nintendo. And I don't know how many of you have ever heard of this game, Plock, but this is a very interesting platforming game. This is like a platforming adventure game. It's a side scroller. This game feels very much like a Japanese game. It feels like a game that really we wouldn't normally see here in the US, but somehow it just made its way through. But this is a very interesting one in terms of find, and this was another GameStop pickup as well. So got some really solid GameStop pickups here this week between Booger Man and Plock, and then got some mom and pop shop pickups as well. So those were really cool. And then of course, we were able to get our hands on a couple of PSPs along with some games to go with it, and they were in like new condition. Now, this is what I'm kind of seeing. The mom and pop shops near me have been raided. Like if you're looking for games at the Legend of Zelda, Mr. Mosquito level, those types of games are very scarce, few and far between. Because a lot of collectors are hitting those places up, and there's just a lot less inventory out there because resellers have really, they're buying everything up. You know, resellers are buying entire mom and pop stores. So all of that stuff is getting absorbed into the Amazon, eBay ecosystem where you can no longer find it physically in the wild. GameStop is still continuing to shock me with the games that they have available both in store and online, and even more so online, because with some of these online pickups, I've been able to get some really cool games with some of these online pickups. And you know, Booger Man and Plock are just one of them, or two of them rather. But I've also been able to get some other really cool games online, but also with some of the in-store pickups that I got over the weekend, many of which you've already seen. I'm not going to belabor the point, but you guys have already seen the majority of these: Manhunt, Manhunt 2, Fatal Frame 3, Beautiful Joe. And then, of course, you've got Shadow of Rome, Code Veronica X, and Family Guy. So just some really solid pickups, right? GameStop, in my opinion, continues to be my go-to for all things retro. Just because I've had success, and I live in an area where there's a lot of retro stores near me. So I have a lot of selection to choose from in person. Also, I'm not afraid to take a chance with their online store because I know that if they send me something that I don't like, I'll just go ahead and return it. But I will say though that if you're like a diehard mom and pop, I'm not really seeing a lot in the mom and pop scene. You know, the mom and pop shops are not wowing me like they used to. I remember I could walk into a mom and pop shop and count on seeing some really amazing complete in box Super Nintendo games, some amazing complete in box Genesis and PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast games, but the shelves are bare. And I don't think people who have these really rare games are trying to let them go right now. I feel like collectors are holding on to the stuff that they like, and even resellers are holding on to the good stuff unless they can get the price that they're asking for it. And this might be what's propping up some of these prices. So this is what I've been seeing so far. This is what I've seen so far this week. We are approaching the middle of the month, so you know, we'll see where it goes from there. But let me know what you guys have found. Let me know what you guys are seeing out there in the wild, and I'll catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.